Hi Dan, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Good.
You have to film this?
We are live streaming this. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we are. We're big time now.
I
Yeah.
see that.
How is summer going?
Yeah,
Quickly.
yeah. When we finally get a nice day, we can get something done. But it's 90 degrees and
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
You know what, I left behind 6, 7 grader out there ready to go if weather permits, so, you know.
so if you want to talk out,
Absolutely, yeah.
thank you. It's like walking through. Usually it's this. I mean, after the first mile, it's this.
Well, good evening, everybody. Let's try it again. It's like the kids. Good evening, everybody. My name is John Grogan. I'm the athletic director in the district. If I haven't had a chance to meet you, welcome. I very much appreciate everybody taking the time out of their busy schedules to come out tonight, especially as we get towards the end of summer, and these last couple summer nights are certainly precious to everybody. So I appreciate you coming out tonight. The whole purpose of the evening is really to open up lines of communication between our athletic department and our parents. We're hopefully going to provide you a lot of information tonight that you'll need for the upcoming sports seasons. We're going to talk about some of the expectations that we'll have for your son or daughter, and some of the things that you can expect from us as well. Again, the whole purpose is to provide information, open up lines of communication. So if you do have questions as I go through, please don't hesitate and shout out, and I will do the best I can to answer them, or I will make sure that I go find out the answer. So if you do have questions as we go, please don't hesitate to ask. Probably the biggest question that we've all had for stinking over a year now, right? Where are we at with current status? And if I could go back for 1 second, I can't tell you how thankful I am for everybody's help and support throughout the last year. I can tell you that last year was probably the longest year of my life. But the fact that every one of our teams got their seasons in, got their senior nights, got to participate in the playoffs, I can't tell you how rewarding that was for me, and there's no way that happens without really everybody's support. Our coaches did an amazing job, our athletic trainers, our parents, administration, and most importantly, our kids, our student athletes, put up with all the protocols and things that we had to put in place to allow them to be able to compete and do what they love to do. So really appreciative of everybody's help and support, and hopefully we can continue that. From a current status standpoint, WPL and PIAA is moving forward as scheduled. There has been no changes. And I think one of the biggest things I learned from last year is to quantify everything I say as of right now, okay? So as of today, as I'm speaking to you, this is where we're at. So WPL and PIAA plans to move forward. Monday the 9th, we're going to be in HEDAC for football. Our varsity sports are starting the 16th at the high school, and middle school is following over the next couple of weeks. So we're looking forward to moving forward with regular seasons and doing our thing. Many of you should have all received a letter from Dr. Steinhauer just this afternoon. So yesterday, as I planned to speak, is changed by today, because Dr. Steinhauer, the board decided that beginning next Monday, August 9th, everybody indoors, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, will have to wear a mask. So starting on the 9th, we will have to be masked up indoors again. If you're vaccinated and we're outside, you will not need to wear a mask. But indoors, so whether we're in the weight room, gyms, athletic training room, to and from locker rooms, fields, etc., indoors, we're going to have to wear a mask. And again, disappointing because we thought we were going the other direction, but quite frankly, I think our student athletes are prepared and used to that, and we'll adjust and make the necessary changes that are there. I can promise you that if things change, if whether our board or the CDC or the governor or Department of Health or Department of Ed makes any changes, we will continue to communicate those out. I highly suggest, I'm sure most of you have done this, our whole health and safety plan is available on our website. You go to the district website, you can read through the entire plan. It is there now, and we're going to move forward with that plan, except for the last minute change that happened just this afternoon. So, questions on where we are with that from anybody? Okay. Again, we will continue to communicate out if there are any changes. So one of the most important things, and gang, I've been doing this a long time, more years than I want to admit. But the parent-coach communication, the parent-coach relationship, we have found as being one of the most important things that you can build for your child to have success in our programs. It's really vital to their success. And some of the suggestions that we have for you that I would make to you is one, recognize our coaches' commitment to their programs. Okay, our coaches put so much time and effort into your programs. Most of our teams are practicing or working out year-round at this point in time. The majority of them, you see like the 2-hour practice. What you don't always see is all the film work that goes into that 2-hour practice, the practice planning that goes into that 2-hour practice, and then the review of that afterwards. Not to mention all the texts, emails from parents, from kids, from administrators. Being a head varsity coach at Mount Lebanon, quite frankly, is another full-time job. So, hopefully that you recognize their commitment. Because I can tell you right now, if you're a freshman coming into the high school, you're not going to agree with our coaches every decision for the next 4 years. Won't happen. Okay? It's just not feasible. Right? So please try to recognize the amount of time and effort that they're putting in your program, because I can promise you all of them are super committed and work really hard to provide terrific programs for your kids. I'd encourage early positive contact with the coach. Don't wait till there's a problem to go up and introduce yourself to the coach. Now that contact doesn't mean we're going to go have a discussion on X's and O's, but it can be quick as hey coach, my name's John, my son's Jordan, can't wait to watch you guys this year, have a great season. That's all. Make early positive contact with the coach. The next couple are really hard, especially sometimes for those of us that coached our kids through youth, right? And we're used to coaching. Let the coach do the coaching. Okay, now they're in school programs, they're varsity programs. Again, our coaches are spending a tremendous amount of time watching film, preparing for practice. As a parent, you're not at every practice, you don't see everything that's going on. Please let our coaches coach. Gang, I can tell you that one of the things that I've seen over many years of doing this that I think is probably the worst thing that you can do is end up putting your kid in the middle. And what I mean by that is they're your son or daughter and they love and respect you as a parent, there's no question. They also spend a tremendous amount of time with his coach, who hopefully they grow to like and really respect as well. And if a coach is telling them one thing in practice, and then they get in the car on the way home or after the game and you're telling them something else at home, think about the confusion that you're creating for your son or daughter. Okay? Let the coach coach. Okay? Try to be as positive as possible. Again, if you do have a problem, okay, we like to call it the quote-unquote 24-hour rule. Please give it some time before you come and speak to a coach. To come directly after a game that is emotional. Again, our coaches are human. They're emotional. They get high. They get low with wins and losses. For you to come up right after a game that we just lost at the end and want to talk about the playing time that your kid received, that's probably not the best time to go talk to a coach. You're not going to get the answer that you want to have. Okay? And you're probably emotionally upset as well. It's just not a great time. Take 24 hours. Take a breath. If you still have those concerns, pick up the phone, call our coach and ask to have a meeting to sit down and talk about it. We do not have a coach in our program that will refuse to meet with you. If that happens, come tell me. I promise I'll set up a meeting for you. Okay? Sit down. We can talk about it as adults, work some things out. Okay? At least you'll be heard, and at least you'll hear from the coach why the decision was made. Okay? But do it at a time where everybody sort of calms down. The next couple slides sort of talks about our philosophy, and again, trying to help you help your kids have a great experience. This slide comes from a really good friend of mine. Her name is Amy Kimball. Amy is a successful sports psychologist in the area. And she put together this slide for people to help assist their kids in helping them have great experiences in sports. And the first one is assessing their motivation. Because your child's motivation for playing sports may be very different than your desire for them to play sports, or what you think they should be playing sports for. Guys, I can tell you that I have kids that are ultra competitive, that would fight you over tiddlywinks to win. And I also have kids playing in our sports programs that are there because, you know what, their buddies playing or their friends playing, and they thought it'd be a great social thing to go hang out. Or you know what, I'm graduating in a couple years and I need something on my resume. So if I go play, so their motivation, your kid's motivation for playing sports could be very different than why you want them to play sports. I had 3 kids that went through and played high school sports. One of them was the ultra-competitive kids. Yeah, I had another kid that the only reason she played sports was because of her resume. She told me, Dad, I need something for my college resume. So what am I going to do? Go get upset at that coach when she doesn't start? Am I going to upset at her because she's not first team all conference and didn't win a WPIAL title? Right? So understanding the motivation for why your kid's playing, I think, is really important. It also helps you set appropriate goals for your kids. Unfortunately, not everybody in here is going to have a Division I athlete. If you did, we'd be really successful. That'd be great. Okay? But that's not the case. You know, even as great as Mount Lebanon is, as successful as we are, as big as we are, true Division I full scholarships every year, we're less than a handful of people. We got a lot more kids going to school and playing. But true D1 full scholarships, not that many. Okay? So help them set appropriate goals. They're not all going to be Division I players. They're not always going to be starters. You know, your son or daughter may not be a starter. So the goal for that kid may be, how do I work my tail off in practice to make the kid in front of me better so that our team can be better? Or it may be working my tail off so that I can get some playing time. All right, so assessing and setting appropriate goals. Seeking balance. And I know that sounds crazy coming from me because we ask a whole lot of your kids, right? In season, we're going to practice 6 days a week. There's going to be film work on top of that. We ask a lot. And on top of it, they go to school in Mount Lebanon where, you know, our education program is pretty strong too. And on top of that, you have family time that you want. And on top of that, your kid probably wants a social life. So making sure that they create a balance is really important. If all your kid is focused on is sport, there's a problem. Make sure that they're seeking balance as well. And the last couple of things, gang, this goes back to what I was talking before, is I can't tell you, your job, I think, as a parent is to be their biggest cheerleader. One of the things that we talk to coaches about is being double goal coaches. And a double goal coach has 2 goals. The first goal is to be competitive and to win. Okay? That's what we're competing out there. But the second goal and the more important goal for them is to teach them any life lessons associated with sports. Guys, that's why this is vital. It's why it's vital to their educational process in Mount Lebanon, is those life lessons that they're learning through sports. How to face adversity, how to win, how to lose, how to be disciplined. Those are things that they learn that are so important that they're going to carry on for the rest of their lives. Your kids aren't going to get paid to play sports. Okay? But those life lessons they can take for the rest of their lives. As a parent, that's where the goal is. Right? Let the coaches and let your kids worry about goal 1. Let them worry about winning and being competitive. You know, that's why we have those coaches. That's why your kids are competing. As a parent, we want to focus on the second goal. How can we help our kids with those life lessons that are going to carry them throughout the rest of their lives? That's what's most important. So again, try to be as positive as you can with your children. You be their biggest cheerleaders. Some suggestions, I can tell you, I had a rule in my family that anytime we were in the car leaving an event, whether it be a practice, a game, etc., we weren't allowed to talk about sports. No sports in the car. You know? So find ways, think of things so that we're not constantly harping on our kids about what's going on. Again, believe me, our coach is telling them when they do something wrong. They don't need to hear it from you as well. Okay, focus on that second goal. So again, most importantly, and I want to stress, we are an educational-based athletic program. We are not win at all costs. Okay? Again, that's professional sports, that's big-time D1, that's not what we're doing. We want to stress life lessons. We want, there's a bigger picture than just winning and losing. Doesn't mean we're not competing, doesn't mean we're not striving and doing everything we possibly can to do to win. We want to provide them all the tools necessary. But at the end of the day, those life lessons are what we're trying to teach kids are the most important thing. It's not all about the scoreboard. It's just not. Sportsmanship is really important to us. In the Student Athlete Handbook, we talk about winning with honor. Okay? How we act is important. We want to make sure in our programs that we're representing our community well. I want people to talk about Mount Lebanon athletes as hard-nosed, tough, but act appropriately. Throwing tantrums, getting red cards, getting technicals. It's just not appropriate. It's not what we want from our kids. It's not what our coaches stress or accept either. One of the ways that we reward this is with what I think is our most important award. It's called the Honor the Game Award. And the Honor the Game Award is respect for roots. It's rules, officials, opponents, teammates, and self. And each year, every one of our teams picks one player from their team that best exemplifies the class and excellence of Honor the Game. And then we pick a male and a female from each sports season that goes on a plaque that hangs in our athletic facility. It's our most important award. It's our kids that are representing us with class and excellence, and that's what we're looking for our programs. Scholar Athlete Award, another way that we recognize our kids is really, this award is twofold. One is an individual award. We have 3 awards. We have Lebo, Blue Devil, and Mount Lebanon. If your kid receives a 3.0 to a 3.49, a 3.5 to a 3.99, or a 4.0, we award them. We post those on the website. We talk about that at the recognition night. I'm so proud of our kids. We averaged last year, we were right around a 3.45 across the board in our athletic programs. Pretty good. Our second award is a team award, where we award each season the highest team that has the team that has the highest GPA as a team. And if you're not in the 3.6s, 3.7s, you're not sniffing that award. Pretty high award, and our kids just do such a great job. But again, we want to make sure that we're emphasizing that. The last award that we do is a Trident Award, and you guys know we're obviously the Blue Devils, and the Blue Devil has a Trident. And one of the things that we try to stress with all our kids and all our coaches is multi-sport participation. We don't believe in specialization. We want our kids playing as many sports as possible. Quite frankly, if you want to look at it competitively in 6A, if our kids aren't playing multiple sports, we can't be competitive. That's true. So we want to encourage our kids to play as many sports as possible. And I think specialization is maybe one of the bigger ills that we have in youth sports today. You know, it's crazy when, you know, I hear of 5th graders and 6th graders making decisions that I can't play that sport because I gotta concentrate on this sport. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You know, one of the stats I see every year, they've done it. Somebody can remind me because I'm trying to think of it now. Every player on the Super Bowl winning team played multiple sports in high school. Every kid on the Super Bowl team played multiple sports in high school. So you specialize in a 5th and 6th grade isn't going to get you there. Okay? Isn't going to get you there. So our Trident Award is we recognize our kids that get a letter in 3 different sports in the same year. So if you letter fall, winter, and spring, you get the Trident Award, and it's again our way of emphasizing our multi-sport athletes. And that's really hard to do at Mount Lebanon. We don't have a lot of kids that do that. But again, we want to make sure that we recognize those kids that do that. So, expectations for your kids. Again, we sort of talked about the code of conduct and sportsmanship. I can tell you that one of the things the PIAA did last year is they increased the penalty for ejections in sports based on why the ejection happened. So if you get ejected from a game, say you get red cards or you get 2 technicals and you're out of the game, you automatically have to sit the next game before you can play again. That's a PIAA rule. That's not, oh, the official's unfair, oh, Mr. Brogan, I'm the greatest kid in the world, I love you as a parent. It's a PIAA rule, okay? It's a rule. Last year they increased that. So if you get, if you get ejected and the ejection is because of language or directly targeting an official, another player, or coach, it goes up to 2 games, okay? And that's pretty significant at the high school level. Any type of ejection or anything like that, before a kid can even go back to practice, they have to come see me, and believe me, we're going to have a long talk about why emotionally we can't handle ourselves. Okay? So we want to make sure that, again, we're always representing ourselves well. Now this is where I'm going to turn to you, because I need your help as well. Okay? Because sometimes I go to games, and I can't believe what I hear. Okay? Up in the stands. And I'm not trying to preach, I'm really not. Okay? But have you ever been to a game, either in person, that you played, that you watched on TV, that you agreed with every official call? Has it ever happened? Anybody? No, you guys know it never happens. So you know that before you even get to the field, before you even get to the game, you know there's going to be calls that we disagree with. Gang, don't be that community that is constantly on officials and is abusive and quite frankly embarrassing. That's not what we want to be about. Okay? That's not what we want to be about. And I know it's easy to say in this setting, and then you get out there and you're emotional, and it's your kid that got fouled, and oh my, take a breath. Take a breath. Okay? I've led in throughout the entire WPL a committee probably for the last going on 10 years now, where I work with every officials chapter on setting fees across the WPL for officials. And I can tell you firsthand that we don't have an official group. There's not one sport in the WPL that does not have a severe shortage of officials. I'm talking severe. I mean, you guys, Western PA, everybody thinks of football, right? There's discussions within the next couple of years of having to drop one of the officials. Instead of, we have to drop one of them because we just can't get enough officials. Every sport, folks, every sport. The last 3 years, there's times where we have to move games from we have to move from a Tuesday or Wednesday because there's not enough officials on Tuesday. I'm in meetings with these officials monthly. What's the number one reason why I can't get officials? Abuse. It's not money. They actually get paid. It's a pretty good part-time job. Yeah, there you go. Right? It's not the money, it's the abuse. You have to listen to the crap that comes out of people's mouths. Okay? There's not one official, I promise you, that comes here and says, I'm going to screw Mount Lebanon today. Okay? Not one. And I can also tell you, there's not one official ever in the history that got yelled at coming down the field. You correct me if I'm wrong. Got yelled at coming down the field and said, oh, you know what, you're right. Ball's this way. Never happened. It never will. All that happens is when you're getting screamed at, you get what?
Yeah, lose focus at one point, like angry.
You get angry. You get angry. Do we want the official angry at us? If we're looking at competitive advantage, right? We want to be nice to that. That's why I'm nice to you guys. Okay? So, again, I'm asking you guys, please, tell your neighbors. I'm probably preaching the choir. If you're here, you probably don't yell at officials. Right? You know who they are. Whatever sport you are, you know who they are. Tell them to take a breath. Tell them to take a breath. We want to be above that. I'm sorry, drug and alcohol policy. We have 2 different policies in regard to that, and I can tell you that our coaches talk ad nauseum to your kids. I talk to them before every sports season. We beg them. We plead with them. Please, please, please make smart decisions. 2 policies you need to be aware of. One is if they are drinking or use of possession on school grounds, at a school district event, it's automatic 10-day suspension from school and another 30 days restricted from student activities. So you do the math, it's well over 40 days that they're out. Okay? Their season's over. Okay? That means they come to a dance and make a poor decision. They come to a football game, make a poor decision. Come to school and really make a poor decision. Okay? That's automatic. That's in the school guidelines. Again, doesn't matter how much John likes your son or daughter, how great you are. That's the policy. Okay? So we beg our kids, please make smart decisions. The second policy is for off-campus. And there's 2 ways this policy takes effect. Either one, the parent or the student self-submit and comes and tells us. The other way, if there's a citation and we find out from the Mount Lebanon Police that there was an issue. In that case, for the first offense, it's 30 days restricted from student activities. However, for the first offense, there is a caveat. If the student agrees to go see a licensed drug and alcohol counselor and does 3-hour community service, once that's completed, they can come back. The idea behind that is we understand that we're dealing with teenagers and sometimes they make poor decisions. But most importantly, we want to make sure that there is a problem, they get the help that they need. If it happens the second time, it's 30 days, there is no restriction or reduction. Third time is 60 days, no reduction. And that is through their high school career. So you make a poor decision as a freshman, and you come back as a junior and make another poor decision, it's the 30 days the second time, no reduction. Does that make sense, everybody? Questions on that? Again, I know we're all on the same page with that one. I can promise you that our coaches are talking to your kids about that constantly, before every boat ride, before every dance, quite frankly, almost before every weekend. we're talking to kids about making smart decisions. They put so much time and effort into their sport. We ask so much for them. For them to make a poor decision in a couple hours on a Saturday night to lose all that, just it isn't really smart. So please join us in helping them. The next one is hazing. This is my pet peeve. I think you know from earlier slides, one of the most important things for me is that our kids have a positive experience in our program. We want our kids to have a great experience here. If there's hazing, there's no way that it can be a positive experience. So we talk to our kids a lot about what hazing is. And so our definition of hazing, everybody thinks of hazing and they right away think of the worst things that happen in the media and downright scary things that happen. But hazing is making any individual do something to be part of a larger group. So I can use an example. One year we had a team that were making their freshmen wear different color socks to school. Okay? It didn't hurt anybody. It wasn't something that was going to be in the news the next day, but it just wasn't appropriate. That freshman may not have felt comfortable wearing those socks in school. That's not what we want from our programs. Okay? So we talked to your coach, we talked to all the coaches about our coaches meetings next week. I promise you that's on the agenda. We talk to all the coaches about that. We talk to the kids about that. I meet with every team, varsity team before the season begins, and they get this lecture from me as well. If there is hazing, you're no longer part of our programs. Okay? That's how strongly we feel about it. Okay? And the last thing, again, we've hit on the sportsmanship stuff throughout. So communication stuff, again, you guys, I'm sure everybody's been on our district website. You can go on our athletic website. We're also on Twitter at Mount Lebanon Sports. If you don't follow, shame on you. Get on it. Follow us. It's a great follow. Right, Chris? Great follow? Yes? No? We try to promote everything that's going on with our programs to the best of our ability. I tell our kids, if you do something special and it's not on there, it's because I don't know about it. Okay, so just come in and let me know. So always trying to promote our programs and the good things that are going on. If you have something, just let me know and we'll get it posted. My office number is up there. I truly do have an open door policy. Guys, I'm literally here 60 to 80 hours a week. I live here. I'm here. If you need something, please come see me. Pick up the phone. I'm more than happy to talk to you. More than happy to jump on an email. If things get worse, I'm more than happy to jump on a Zoom or stop in. I'm here. You'll see me at games. I'm more than willing and happy to talk with you. This is my sort of plea to you guys. One of my biggest challenges I have with parents, okay, is the fact that they don't come and say anything until it's too late. I can't tell you the number of parents that I've had come and address a problem with me 3 weeks after the season. And it's normally something that again, through a phone call, an email, little communication, I could have fixed the situation for them. But we wait until afterwards, and I know I hear, oh, fear of retribution. Gang, our coaches aren't, that's not what they're about up here. If you have a problem, you want to keep it private, come and tell me you want to keep it private. Okay? You may not get the answer you want. I'll be honest with you. Okay? But I'm more than willing to sit down and have a conversation. All right? So please don't wait. I had one parent that came, she came almost 6 months after the season. The coach had resigned. Okay? The coach, not because of her, just resigned because he had family issues. Resigned. She came 6 weeks after and went on for 20 minutes railing on this guy. I kept saying, ma'am, he's gone. Ma'am, he's not even here. You know, don't be that. I can't help you if I don't know. You know, so if I don't know, I can't help. You know, so your first step, honestly, should be to address it with the coach because they're with your kids most. They know what's going on most. You know, and if that doesn't work and you need more help, please, my door's always open. I mean that. All right, academic eligibility. This is something that we check on a weekly basis with your kids. We check it every Thursday. We check it through PowerSchool and the online grades. And our kids are required to be passing 4 full credit subjects by PIAA bylaws. So that's not Mount Lebanon, again, being mean and keeping you down. That's a PIAA guideline. So our kids have to be passing 4 full credit subjects. Now, to be honest, if they're not passing 4 full credit subjects, they should be playing anyhow. Okay? But that's what we check on a weekly basis. How the process works, we'll check on Thursday. We inform the head coach Thursday afternoon. Our expectation of that coach is they're getting to your son or daughter by Friday. Our expectation of your son or daughter is they're getting to that teacher as soon as possible to figure out what's going on. Maybe they're missing a homework assignment. Maybe they missed a test. Maybe they're legitimately having a problem in that class. If that's the case, we want to make sure that they get the help that they need. Gang, I'm starting my 22nd year at Mount Lebanon. I have never had a teacher at Mount Lebanon refuse to work with one of our student athletes. Okay, so if they're having a problem in that class, they need to go see that teacher and make sure that they're getting it taken care of or figure it out. One of the things, and those of you that have kids that are playing fall sports, I emphasize this big time with our fall sport athletes, is they sort of have it tough because the year is just beginning. So everybody puts their grades in the online grade book, right? And so your first math homework, you decide, you know what, it's late. I had a long practice. I don't feel like doing this. It's one math assignment. I'm not doing it. And the teacher puts down that you didn't do it, and she puts a 0 in there. What's your grade? Right? And then you're not playing that next week because you're not passing 4 subjects. So again, if you have kids that are in sports, especially at the beginning of the fall, it's a good chance for you to emphasize the importance of getting off to a good start and making sure that we're good to go. If they aren't eligible, and this doesn't happen often, but occasionally it does, and you are not passing 4 full credit subjects, that ineligibility will start Sunday and last through the following Saturday, so it's for a week. It'll start Sunday and last through the following Saturday. Okay? Questions on that? So our attendance policy, the first one doesn't happen often, to be quite frank, but just so you're aware, PIAA has a rule that if you miss more than 20 absences in one semester, you have to be in school for 45 days before you can compete again. So we do pay attention to how many absences your child has throughout the semester. The second one is the one that we deal with more often. We have an expectation. I know this is crazy. We have an expectation that your son or daughter's in school on time. Okay? So they have to be in school on time to be able to practice or play that day. All right? There are some exceptions to that. If they're on a pre-approved administrative absence, maybe it's a field trip, maybe it's a college trip. If you have a doctor's excuse, if you have a doctor's appointment, that's fine. The only thing that we require is a note from the doctor to come back in. Okay? Please pay attention. That's not a note from you as mom and dad. Because no offense, mom and dad aren't always honest with us. Okay? That needs to be a note from the doctor. Okay? And I can tell you that our nurse and our trainers are really good at knowing the docs and what's going on. And I say that jokingly because these guys hear this joke all the time. My favorite one is we had a kid with a concussion, okay, and the parent wanted him to come back and play so bad that they brought in a note from the doctor and like, we got the note, and it was from their gynecologist. Physicals. Everybody needs to have a physical to be able to compete in the state of Pennsylvania, okay? That physical has to be either June 1st or after, okay? We tell people all the time, I know some, especially this happens, I get middle school parents that maybe not know as well, and they get their physical in March and they're like, oh, well, now what am I going to do? Go to MedExpress, all right? And I know it stinks, and I know that's not the answer that you want to hear, but by PIAA bylaws, your physical has to be from June 1st afterwards. So what I highly suggest is through their middle school and high school years, schedule that appointment June, July, whenever you want, but through the summer months, that physical then is good throughout the entire year. You don't have to get a new physical before every sports season, okay? But that physical has to be June 1st or after. They need that physical before they're able to practice, okay? So football kids that don't have a physical Monday, August 9th, aren't doing EDAC. Okay, you got to have that before you can compete. So MedExpress is really busy the next couple weeks, but they're willing to do physicals. So if you can't get into your doctor, you can try MedExpress. Again, I think everybody's aware of sign-ups on Family ID. If you go to our website under registration, we do everything electronically, so we have no more paperwork, which is, I think, really nice for you. The other thing is Family ID keeps all your information, so as you go from season to season, it's there. You don't have to put everything in again. From year to year, it's there. You don't have to import everything again, but everything is done online through Family ID. NCAA guidelines. Those of you have aspirations, your kids have aspirations of going on to the next level, we certainly want to do everything that we can to make that happen. There's information in our student athlete handbook. Traditionally, every year, Mrs. Sabo, one of our guidance counselors, and I put on a college recruiting simplified night. It's typically February, March timeframe. Obviously, last year we weren't able to do it because of COVID, but we're hopeful to be able to bring that back this year. There's a ton of information available online. I can promise you, if you're going through the recruiting process for the first time, you will have questions. Ask them, okay? If we don't know, we'll go find out. Both Shelley and I have developed a ton of really good relationships with college admissions and college athletic directors and people that do this every day for a living. If I don't know, I'll go find out the answer for you. Okay, so if you do have questions or concerns, we want to make sure that we're here for you and we'll answer anything that we can. It is important, and freshman parents, you know, this may be the caveat for you, right? You have the son or daughter that, you know, is going to go play Division I. Freshman year starts, right? It counts. And it counts towards their eligibility to be able to play in college. And I can tell you that kids' grades are an important factor for a lot of our kids' decisions as far as what colleges they can go to and what colleges, you know, are going to be available to them. So we are very fortunate to partner with UPMC. We have partnered with them. Shoot, I think they've been with UPMC since the mid-'80s, a long time. But we enjoy a terrific relationship with them. We continue to get bigger. Really excited that we have been able, last year we were able to add a 4th full-time athletic trainer. So we have 4 people that are dedicated to the health and wellness of your kids on a daily basis. And we have 4 really good people that care a tremendous amount about your kids and work really hard. Your kids will definitely get to know your trainers. We have some that work more with the middle schools. Our trainers at the high school sort of split up sports, and they have certain sports that they're mainly with. But I can tell you that all the trainers are in the room. They'll help anybody that comes in. You know, it's a great place to be right after school because it's a zoo in there, right? I mean, it is a zoo. But we're very fortunate to have 4 full-time trainers, and I screwed up on the slide. We're now at 4. And also, we have 2 team doctors. Where again, we're very fortunate. Dr. Volker Mushal, who is actually the lead person down at the UPMC Southside Complex. He is the director of that complex. Volker is the head doctor down at the University of Pittsburgh as well. We're very fortunate to have Volker on staff. Unfortunately, he was on vacation this week. And we're also very fortunate to have Dr. Zeller. Dr. Zeller has been, this is year 2 or 3? Year 3 with us. Gang, we actually have Dr. Zeller that comes in once a week just to check up on our kids. If there's anybody that needs to be seen, any issues. She's actually in our athletic building once a week. So very fortunate to have this type of support. I can tell you, everybody doesn't have this, and we're very fortunate. So I want to invite the eldest member of our training staff. Dr. Zeller's going to speak first.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming, I appreciate it. It's nice to see everybody. Last time I was in here virtually, so it's really exciting. So again, I am here on Wednesdays usually. So what happens usually if somebody gets injured, and Dan and the athletic trainers can explain a little bit more, is they'll screen them, they'll evaluate them, maybe even get them started with kind of a rehab program, and if they're not progressing or something seems a little more severe, they'll have me see them on Wednesdays. Or if something happens, we do have open spots in my clinic so we can kind of expedite things. So you guys kind of have a ticket right in, get past everybody, okay? So I've met a few of you guys, so The next thing is I do also cover a few other things, but you guys are kind of one of my main priorities. And I think that's it. Do I need to add anything else? But come say hi. I'm on the sidelines a lot of times. And we want to keep your athletes in their actual sport. So try not to be scared. I swear I'm not scary, okay?
And I'm going to bring up our athletic trainer with the most experience here. I won't call him old. Our old trainer. This is Dan Steckley.
Hi, everybody. So let's see, I started here 2003 was my first year, and it was quite an awakening, to come from a small school to Mount Lebanon with all the expectations. But it's been nice to watch us grow over the years. We started out with 2, then 3, now 4. So we have Tony Trichetta. This is Tony's second year. This is Jess's first year. But Tony comes from, he's a Penn State grad. And 10 years? 12 years with Tony, Jess? 10 years? Okay, so that's 22 plus 9, 21. 43 plus Sarah's. So yeah, and Sarah's not with us tonight, but she had other commitments. But as Mr. Grogan said, we're here for the kids. If they're injured, we want to get them back out there on the playing field as soon as possible, but we want to do that in a safe manner. As Dr. Zeller mentioned, we're going to, if your student athlete comes in and something's hurt on them, we're going to do a nice evaluation on them, try and figure out what's going on. Started a little bit of a treatment program, whether that's a little rehab or if it's something more significant, we're going to call Dr. Zeller. But if they're progressing along, that's great. We have to realize that because you got hurt today and we did one set of exercises on your student athlete, that doesn't mean tomorrow that they don't have any more pain or they're not injured anymore. But it's a process. A lot of times what I kind of give to the kids is, how long has this been hurting? If it's been hurting a week, it's probably going to take 2 weeks of treatment before it doesn't hurt as much anymore. It's not a quick fix, but that's what we're there for. We're there to help the kids. Once again, if there's a significant injury, whether it's a shoulder injury, a hand injury, whatever it is, we're concerned about a fracture or dislocation, a concussion, you're going to get a phone call. Your son or daughter is not going to come walking in the house in a boot, in a sling, without a phone call from one of us. Concussion-wise, there is the regular protocol out there. If they sustain a concussion, they need to be evaluated by a physician or doctor of osteopathic medicine or a neuropsychologist who specializes in concussions before they can return to play. Generally, our return to play is, if they go to a concussion clinic, they're going to have several days of rehab before they're back out on the field. It starts off with some light exercises, and it progresses through to make sure that they do not have symptoms that come back or something worse. So as Mr. Grogan had alluded to earlier, it's got to be that MD or DO or neuropsych. It can't be signed by an RN. It can't be signed by a nurse practitioner or a physician assistant. So it's got to be a note from an MD or DO. And the one other thing I'd like to kind of maybe point out is, if you choose and you go somewhere else, your son or daughter comes home to you and says, "Hey, my knee hurts," and you guys go to a doctor, that's fine. We don't have an issue with that. What we do have an issue with is, "Oh, I went to the doctor last night and he said my knee is this and I can't play for a week," or "He says I'm okay to play." We do really, protects the school, protects everyone, because everybody wants to play, but we need a note from an MD or DO saying, "Yes, my son or daughter is okay, they have this injury, but they're okay to participate, or these are the limitations and we can work with that." So it doesn't matter who they go to, as long as we get a kind of a note that says, hey, this is what's happening.
Hinted around it. You know, one of the big advantages that we have with contracting through UPMC is access to their network all the time. We get kids in to see doctors like that week. It's incredible. I always tell this story. I remember we had a kid with a cardiac issue that had to be cleared with a cardiac issue before he could start to play, and he went through his regular doctor and tried to set up an appointment. And it was going to be 3 months before he could go see the specialist and cardiologist. We made one phone call. He was in that week. So, you know, it's a tremendous advantage that we have. The second piece I want to just mention to make sure everybody's aware is because of the crazy insurance issues that are going on, when you schedule or go through UPMC, you know, they'll certainly check to see what your insurance is, and your insurance doesn't cover it for whatever reason. You have to go to another doctor. That's completely fine. You know, we will still treat, we'll still see your kid. There's no issue there, but you know, one of the great advantages we have is being able to get access to you know, world-class doctors really quickly. The other story I always like to tell, because it freaked my daughter out. My daughter had she had a foot injury, and again, I contacted UPMC. They had me down the south side that afternoon. And we're sitting outside the room, and I think my daughter may have been in 9th grade, and she was about like this, you know. And out of the room comes Casey Hampton. And Casey was probably like 6 of hers, right? And Casey went right up to her and said, "Hey, what's up?" She didn't know what to do with herself. So again, I said, "Hey, listen, you got the Steelers doctor. Go ahead in there, you know." But again, we're very fortunate to work with them and have their services. So that's what I have for you guys today. Again, I appreciate you guys again coming. I'll be around if you have questions. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Good.
Hey, John,
Did you raise?
before you finalize, I have one that came up.
Shoot.
You mentioned on that one slide about pay to play.
Yes.
Pay to play.
Yes.
Can you discern between that paying for play through the school versus what we might get solicited from boosters?
Yeah, good question. I'm sorry I missed that, Ron. The district, the school board does have a pay to participate. At the high school level, it's $40. Play as many sports as you want for that $40. At the middle school level, it's $20. Play as many sports as you want for that $20. I can tell you that money goes directly to the general fund. So that's not something that comes directly into our athletic budget that I get to spend. but I can tell you that that money goes directly to offsetting the cost of athletics in the district. What you're being asked to raise and look at fundraising from boosters goes directly to helping support your kids within those programs. Does that help? Sorry, I missed that. Thanks. Good question. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Can you clarify what sixth graders can and cannot, it starts in seventh grade?
Starts in seventh graders. So sixth graders have nothing to do interscholastically. There's still community programs, travel programs. I do believe both middle schools do some type of intramural programs, so they can get involved with those. But interscholastically, through the school, nothing starts in the PIAA till seventh grade. Yes, ma'am.
Back to the money real quick. So $40 gives you access to play, and any other fees that you received, that you were assessed, is it discretionary in terms of the team, or is it uniforms, or team building, or so if I'm asked for this much money, what's that?
That would go to a booster club, and that booster club and that board would decide. That's not something that goes through the athletic department for us to spend. Typically, that's spent on things like team meals, team gear, maybe if they're taking, like, basketball typically is taking like a trip over the holidays, those types of things that aren't funded through the school, that's where that money goes to. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
How do you find out how to sign up for like seventh grade athletics? I've not seen anything. Have something going since seventh grade.
Yeah, typically, there's an email that gets sent home. It's in the spring. If you have any questions, email me. I can forward it to you. In addition, we have information on the website, and typically our coaches do announcements at schools for sign-ups, et cetera, as well. Anybody else seeing that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Just to follow up with that question, so if we have somebody in seventh grade, we don't need to sign anything up, sign them up for anything right now, right?
If they're in seventh grade and they want to play sports, then you would, depending on what sport do they want to play?
Volleyball.
Girls volleyball? So they should be signing up now because that's a fall sport. So if you go on the registration on the website, on the Family ID, you can get them registered there. Yeah, I think volleyball starts August 30th for middle school. And like I said, they're in school, so there'll be sign-ups and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, again, yes, sir.
Just usually as part of that, so I'm on the field hockey board. If you go on to usually the volleyball association's website, they probably point you to where the signups
Okay,
are.
thank
So
you.
like for field hockey, we go on our website and it points you in the direction
Okay.
of where signups are.
All right.
So each association should have that on their websites.
It's on our athletic webpage as well. Yeah. Anybody else? Well, again, thank you very much for coming. Again, doors always open. If you need something, we want to make sure your kids have a great experience. Come let me know. Good to see everybody. Thank you very much. Go Lebo, right?
No, you're good. I turned it off. Thank you. So, it's funny. I'm glad you're here. But so I had 3 field hockey players that play lacrosse.